Hey guys, welcome to today's podcast. I am your host, Nemzi. And on today's podcast, we have an interesting topic to share with you, which we tag sexual expectation. And on today's podcast as well, we have a very important guest. He's a registered nurse and very well committed to dishing out quality health tips. He's here to tell us the truth, which you might not tell yourself. So thank you for joining us here, Mr. Samuel.
Thank you very much, Nancy. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so without wasting much of the time, this sexual exploitation of a thing, is it a male thing or a female thing?
Well, looking at sexual expectation is quite general. It happens from both genders. Both genders have what they want to get from their spouse, from their partners during sex. However, we, from the street perspective, we see that there is more pressure from the female gender
Mm,
with respect to what they want
okay.
during the sexual act. So it's more of a female thing in this present time. It's more of a female thing in the street. It's more of a female thing in marriages, outside marriages. So they could still target a female thing. Actually.
Okay, so what you're trying to tell us now is that the female have more sexual expectation than the male.
Positive.
Okay, so guys, I hope you're listening. Please, if you're while watching this, please remember to share the video, leave a comment if you have any question to ask. It's definitely going to be on our comment section to respond to any question you have to ask. Okay, now going to the next question, please. For a man to meet up with the expectation of a woman, is it wrong for him to use enhancement pills? Since you say the female are the ones that have more expectation, they have more expectation. So is it wrong for men
Well,
to use enhancement?
looking at the side, before we go to the side of using of enhancement, we know there are several sexual enhancement drugs that are prescribed, we have the herbals everywhere, and we have a lot of testimonies from people who are using these things. But before we go into that, have we actually considered why the man has to use sexual enhancement drugs when he's actually healthy? So when while we're talking about sexual expectations, I believe is that coming from the woman side of it, I feel it's coming too much, and that's the reason why a man who is healthy has to use a drug. Normally, someone who is healthy shouldn't use a prescription.
Hmm.
Yes, the prescription should be coming because there is a little problem, there's a little decline from the normal, and there's a need for something. But this guy is healthy. You're looking at it from that perspective. The guy is healthy, the guy is not having any problem with his health. Yet he has to take drugs to now boost himself to meet up an expectation. That means that there is a little problem with it. So I'm not saying it's wrong to have expectations, but I'm saying whatever should drive a man in the first place to want to meet up with a sexual expectation by using drugs is actually a little questionable. Mark that word or the phrase, a little questionable. Thank you.
Okay. So it is not wrong to use enhancement pill. But what if for a man that's, for instance, young guy these days now, they have the habit of using such,
Okay.
even if they are okay or not, they have the habit of taking enhancement pill because they want to satisfy the woman, which is as a result of her expectation. Or will you call that the man's expectation?
Okay, you know we are doing true street talk,
Yeah,
and
it's true.
we're
Let's talk
talking
about the
about
truth
things
here.
that happen in the streets,
Yes.
things that happen in the day-to-day life
Definitely.
of people,
Definitely.
and even most of our couples or most of our persons who are engaged in sexual activities these days are people who are learning from what's happening out there, from what's happening in the streets. So when you come to the sexual expectation thing, it's not healthy for somebody, like I said earlier, you are quite healthy and you're using drugs. That means that something is actually wrong somewhere, because you shouldn't be using drugs if you are healthy. You shouldn't be abusing drugs if you are healthy. So for you to now go to the stage of using drugs, that means that someone is pushing you to do more than yourself. Okay, so let's look at it from this perspective now. A guy has sex with his woman. Based on research, abstinence from sex for about 3 to 4 days could lead to a man being very, very, very much ready and gallant for the job. Now, a guy now has sex with his woman, and then after a 2 hour space, he has sex again with the same woman, and after a 2 hour space again, he has sex again, and they had to do a kind of assessment on the quality of the sperm cells. We're not yet talking about the body now, we're getting there, but on the quality of the sperm cells, like his fertility strength, we discovered that the sperm cells produced were still okay enough to fertilize the egg, but the quantity reduced. Mark my words again, they were okay to fertilize any woman who is healthy, reproductively healthy, but they declined in quantity. They declined in total quantity, and as the time kept going, they kept declining. So what that means, or what I could interpret that to be, is that if the sperm cells could be declining in quantity for the number of times the guy is having sex in that day, what about his body? What about his body? Won't there be a decline in energy? If you are working without resting, won't there be some level of drop? Let's just be factual here. Like I said, online or anywhere, you can always see that yes, you're supposed to be having sex. Yes, you'll be knacking like you used. But let's come to reality. A guy that finished ejaculating now, his body will tell him to stop first. His body will ask him to take some time to rest. He can't just ejaculate and then boom, you are going again. So for someone who ejaculates and then boom, he's going again, he use something.
Yes, because you're supposed to have a
There's supposed to be a natural rest.
Okay.
Yes, something has happened. There has been a release there. So there's supposed to be a natural, let's step it down a little. That's how God created the body. So for the guy now to step up again and he's moving like a lion, that means, hey, come on, something else is pushing this guy. He's not just going by himself. And once that starts happening, now we have some natural feedbacks that should have occurred when he ejaculates so naturally. But when it's being pushed, then we should not expect something positive after such push. We shouldn't expect something positive. We shouldn't expect someone whose body wanted to rest for just, even if it's 30 minutes and he's always walking. We shouldn't expect that person to be healthy if he continues that kind of lifestyle for the next 10 years. So a body that told you to rest, that body will still trigger you to engage in another sexual act after the rest. You don't need to overpressure yourself to do that. But sexual expectations must have led some guys to now want to push. Why? The woman has not gotten there. Mind you, don't be selfish. You have gotten there, but the woman has not gotten there. So you
has not gotten to the climax.
Yes, she has not gotten to the yeah. So this true street talk. So we have to use some street things. So the woman has not gotten to the climax. She has not achieved orgasm. So because she has not gotten there, the guy has to push her there. And so he has to put extra pressure. A healthy man now using drugs. You're healthy, you're using drugs. That means something is actually pushing you to do that. So that is why youths are doing it. You see a healthy guy, he's not having any problem. I see several people who will call me. I would like, have you checked yourself? Have you gone for hormone profile? Young man, are you actually having a problem? I see you are okay. Your stats has been okay. Your health status has been okay. You're not hypertensive. You're not diabetic. Everything about your life is moving so well. So why are you using drugs?
He needs to satisfy his girl.
That's the thing. That's the thing. And I think that's where we are getting it wrong. The sexual expectation thing is not bad. Having several rounds of sex a day is not bad. But from the research I spoke about, there was a natural decline in the quantity of semen produced because guy has to come, as they say, guy has to come.
Yes.
Now there's decline in the quantity of semen. For there to be decline in the quantity of semen, there should be a decline in some other areas over time. There should be a decline in the energy. You are working, you are exercising this thing consistently and you don't want to stop. We've had news about people who died having sex. We've had news about people who said they want to go 11 rounds and he died on the 10th. I don't know if you've heard about that story that happened with him.
I've heard of it.
Yes, so
Even
these
people
are
that have
things
stroke in the process,
in the process.
like blood just thief.
That is just it. And if you check it very well, most of these people who had those experiences, they were using these drugs. And the drugs are not bad, but the time they are being used is the issue. The purpose of their being used is also the issue. So from my own opinion, my verdict on this is that we should allow the body to actually meet the need. And when we have not met the need, we should actually consult a sex therapist who will teach us how to help the woman meet, or how to meet her sexual expectation, or how to help her arrive at orgasm without having to kill ourselves.
Oh, so we actually have sex therapists.
Yes,
Wow.
sex
I'm very
therapists.
sure many people out there don't even know we have sex
They're
therapists.
actually sex therapists.
I'm very sure you
You
don't
can
know.
also go for a class, even as I'm talking to you now, you can actually go for a class, you can actually go for a course where you could learn one or two things, be certified to be able to guide other people in the aspect of these topics, like this sex topics and all that, and so that people will have less people who are putting their lives in danger out of the issue of sexual expectations, and we'll have more healthy families around ourselves, healthy people generally. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. This has been very, very interesting. So, guys, I hope I'm sure you are listening. I'm sure you're watching this video. Please remember to share the video, leave your comments. If you have questions, leave it below. Okay. So now to round it up, we're getting towards the end. Just I have a few questions. For the female, what advice do you have for them? Because basically, guys go through all this pressure, all this stress of trying to satisfy because of the woman, because they see that they don't have like normally guys will come after the first round after 15-10 minutes. You see that the women they don't come. I don't understand, like they don't rest. If a man does 15 minutes for the first round, is they are not okay, to that the man is weak. It's all wrong. It's very wrong.
Okay.
So I don't know what do you have to tell them?
Well, to the great women out there, there is something I will want to talk about now. It's not going to actually contradict what I've been saying or what right information we have out there. It will not contradict it. But first, before I go to the women, let's go back to the men.
Okay.
You're a man. Let's be frank. You're a man. From the standpoint research I shared, from that research I shared, it was the research I did, and I also did some other studies on that topic. Now, you have a woman that you are supposed to give your energy to,
Okay.
that you're supposed to shower your sexual energy, your fertile energy on, and then you are sharing this energy with other babes outside. Are you getting it now?
Mm-hmm.
Now, you've forgotten that it's also a psychological thing. If you are giving that to just your wife, I'm sure that before 3 rounds, she must have gotten there. She must have gotten some level of satisfaction. But the man now leaves his wife. Maybe he just had sex with her once that morning. He steps out. He saw Nkechi on the road. Nkechi fascinates him. Wow, sharp. He has done with Nkechi. Then Nkiru or Fatima,
Bisola.
he has done. He has shared everything with them.
That's the work of Femi.
Yes, he didn't just share the sexual or the semen that he has been releasing out there. His energy, everything, he has shared it. Now he has gotten sexual pleasure from different people. When he now comes back home, the concern to make his wife satisfied is not really there, because he has actually there is a satisfaction a man should get when he knows that a woman was satisfied because of him. You understand? It's a mutual thing that, oh, this lady got satisfied. The man should be happy about it. You understand? The man should be happy that, oh, I was able to, it happened. That's the sexual expectation we're talking about. When the lady didn't get to climax, the man is not happy. So he goes to take drugs so he will achieve the stuff that she wants. Now, a man should actually have a level of satisfaction that, oh, I'm able to make a woman achieve orgasm. Now he has obtained that satisfaction from Kiru outside. He has witnessed Nkechi have satisfaction outside. But when he now comes back to the house, it's no longer a new thing. Even if the wife is complaining, you are not satisfying me, his brain is telling him, she didn't me satisfy these people and they were testifying about me. I beg, just rest. Maybe tomorrow I'll do my work. And you see now that the woman is being deprived. There is more pressure. When the pressure gets too much, you say, okay, since I have done it outside, I've shared it. By the time I'm getting home, let me buy my sexual enhancing drug so that I will now be potent for my woman. So if a man can actually learn to focus, I think that will work. If a man can actually learn to focus on his wife, deliver all the energy to his wife,
not just wife, to his partner, because this. I'm talking about streets now.
I understand.
On the street, we have people that are just dating. So
people are just
as
dating.
a guy, be focused on your baby.
If a man focuses on a woman, just a woman, and pours all his energy on his partner, definitely there shouldn't be that period where there will be a drop in his sexual performance as a man. There shouldn't be that period. And even if that period now happens, we can now say he has a medical problem. We can now take him to the hospital, do some lab tests. Definitely, if after all said today, the man still experiences one or two drops, if after focusing on one woman, he still experiences drop in his performance, then there is need for him to go for a health check. Definitely, I'm very sure that after the health check, there will be one or two drops in his health that, okay, there's need for you to take drugs. There's need for you to do this. Oh, he has diabetes. Maybe he's taking a drug that is affected. There must be something.
There must be something. Just like the way you medical practitioners always tell women, whenever they go for infection test, there is always infection. That is the truth.
We will soon go to that. Maybe we should have another time to talk about
definitely. You are definitely going to come on this show again to come and share it. We'll talk about infection in particular. Because I wonder why it's anytime a lady goes to the hospital for a checkup, she must always have infection. Why? Is it anytime a lady does not have infection? Somebody will tell you, ignore it. It's a minor thing. But there's an infection. It's a use of extension or extortion rather.
Yes.
We'll talk about it.
Definitely. And I will not expose some secrets so that
no. You have to. No, I'm very sure your fellow medical practitioner watching this will not shoot you because this is true street talk. We have to say the truth as it is.
Yes, actually, it's not actually.
The truth you don't want to hear will tell you.
Yeah, it's not actually a truth that will jeopardize anybody's source of income, but it's a truth that will help the people who are always running to the hospital to reduce the number of times that they are running for that. But not to digress, for the men, if a man is healthy and he has met his needs or he has met his woman's needs in that relationship and he ensures that there is no other woman he is sharing his energy to, definitely we should not be having this performance syndrome happening in the society. So with all these, definitely we should be having women who have been satisfied. I think we have had stories where a man will say, hey, I was sleeping with my ex. I slept with her. That same day he slept with his ex. That same day he slept with his babe. That same day he slept with another. The same guy. And I think in the story he slept with his cousin.
Please leave in the comment section the name of the guys that do those things. Let's know them. If you know their names, put their names down.
So I read it, I was like, wow, same man. He gave this energy. Now, all men don't have the same energy. Some men are so super, natural, without any drug. Why some men don't have up to that energy? And imagine that kind of... imagine that kind of man now having to satisfy his wife, and after doing all those stress outside, he now comes back tired. Plus day's work, he now comes back tired, and you're expecting him to still give the usual. It cannot just happen like that. Forget the fact that medical research proves that the man will still, if he has sexual libido, it will even ginger more. But to be factual, he's a human. He has done exercise. He has done it over and over again. He has stressed himself to some extent. He needs rest. So at that point in time where he needs rest, he just have to force himself to do, because the woman must not suspect that something is happening outside. So you have to force himself. And that's where we start having low productivity when it comes to the other room. So women actually have sexual, men do have sexual expectations from women. There are women that actually do not enjoy sex. Just after 3 minutes, they're tired. Yes, just after this thing you used to hear, women are demanding sex. When we finally get to the real game, especially in marriage, you see that there are some women who, after a short time in sex, they are tired. They are just there so that their husband can enjoy sex. I know women that walk up to me, and as at that time, even now I'm not married, at that time I was never in a relationship.
He's single. If you're interested, leave it in the comment section below.
I'm never in a relationship. So the woman was talking, but because I already have the understanding, I was taught, I was also exposed to issues like this over time. I was able to give her the right counsel. And one day she was like, "Good day, sir. How is the family?" I was like, "Hey, sorry, I'm fine. There's no problem." So she was actually surprised. She was ashamed that she had to share a lot. What was I talking about? She couldn't feel the urge for sex. Not one woman, several women. They couldn't feel the urge for sex. So who is going to be having the sexual expectation now? It's the man.
It's the man.
Because he wants to have sex and his wife is never having it. So tell me how that marriage is going to be. So somehow I got a friend who shared that, a pastor's wife. Your pastor's wife, and you couldn't. So why? Maybe she's always spiritual, always praying, and being spiritual doesn't mean that you will not do your marriage is a very physical thing too. So, but she had to start teaching as a nurse. She had to teach the woman how to go about it, how to make her husband happy, how to, and from that, and I think how to satisfy a man sexually. There's nothing much to do, just one or two few spices, and the man is actually happy, and he will just have the sex. So even if the woman is not really feeling it, he doesn't care. He's just happy that she was able to entice him well. She was able to make him aroused to the level of engaging in sexual activity. So I think women don't really have much problems with having the drive. Just few women have that problem. And like I just shared, these are ways to do it. Some go for drugs. Now when someone is going for a drug, something is wrong. Like there's a drop in the desire for sex. So we have to go for some checkups. We have to check what's wrong with you, madam. Are you okay? There are several things that actually can drop sexual expectations. We have stress, we have diet, we have genetics, we have some drugs too. I don't want to spoil some drugs, but our medical practitioner, don't even see your doctors. They will tell you if you're managing hypertension, there are some drugs you will use. They will drop sexual drive, or they will drop erection strength. The man will not be having erection. And so there are drugs too that could actually affect women in that same light. So I think if women could check out one or two things on that, they'll be fine. Aside from that, women are always good to go. Thank you.
Okay, you guys, it's been very, very wonderful, very exciting, and very, very educating. I hope you've learned something. I believe you've learned something. Please don't forget to leave your questions in the comment section below. Like this video and share it. So you subscribe to this channel. Thank you very much. True Street Talk.